Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. A long time ago, Redeemer ran an annual stewardship campaign that featured an eccentric character we called Grace Stewardship. She would interrupt our worship at times, and she and I would have a discussion about church and the need for money. It was all planned out, but I still remember one of those discussions. Grace and I had talked about how the offering was our chance to give back to God from all that God had given to us. We had talked about the offering as an act of worship, giving some of our wealth, but more importantly, giving ourselves to God. The discussion wrapped up as Grace asked me, "Pastor Gary, can I stand in the offering plate?" We give ourselves to God in God's work. This week we are talking about those parts of worship that we tend to overlook easily. We do them every week, but we typically do them without a whole lot of thought, or like with today's topic, the offering, sometimes with the wrong kind of thought. Yes, there are utility bills, building repairs, salaries, outreach ministries, program expenses, even things like communion bread and wine that we have to purchase. There are any number of things that require money for the church to operate. However, sometimes when a church asks for money, it can seem so self-serving. Here's the truth. It is self-serving to you. You see, the offering is our chance to respond to God. We respond in gratitude for the blessings God has given us. We respond to the love and grace of God in our lives. In worship, the opportunity to respond is offered after we have worshiped and praised God together in song, heard God's word of salvation to us in gospel and sermon, confessed our faith together using a creed, and then having turned to God in prayer, trusting that God will hear us. Having received all of this, we then have the opportunity to respond to all that God is and has done and continues to do for us. We have the opportunity to give of ourselves, to be part of all that God is doing among us, and to support God's work. What we really give at the offering is ourselves, reflected through our gifts. When we really recognize all that God is for us, it becomes a joy to give. So the offering becomes a time when we express that joy. A few other things. The only worship we have in which we do not offer the opportunity for an offering is on Good Friday. On Good Friday, it is God who offers Jesus for us. The Bible indicates that God's people are to give a tithe, or 10%. Some have said that the tithe is required and that we don't get to gifts and offerings until we get beyond the 10%. Redeemer does have electronic giving options, including automatic draft and a QR code on the back of the Go and Serve announcement sheet. Automatic draft helps keep giving regular. Finally, after we receive the offering, we bring it forward, and the pastor raises it before the altar. This is our way of saying, "Lord, these gifts are dedicated to you in response to your love and grace." While the pastor raises them, he or she typically prays something like, "Lord, give your church wisdom to use these gifts as you would have us use them." Some of you have heard me talk about the way I dream the offering should go on Sunday. Typically, there might be quiet music going on as the ushers come forward to begin the orderly collection by passing the plate. I think if we really understood what the offering was and is, about then, someone a third of the way back would stand up and shout, "No, don't start the offering over there. Start it here. I can't wait to respond to all that God has done in my life." And then someone on the other side of the church would yell out, "No, start it over here. I can't wait either." That's how the offering ought to be done. That's how we ought to feel. We are blessed to be a blessing. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.